Greetings all, and welcome to another episode of Reflecting on Divinity. If this is your first time joining, I am so glad you are here. This series is about exploring the essence of who we are through self-reflection, perception, and creative expression. But more than that, reflecting on divinity is exactly what its name suggests. It is meant to highlight how we reflect the divine. A reflection, however, is just that, a reflection. And just as a mirror can distort or blur our image if it is fogged or cracked, so too can our perception of self become unclear if we are not grounded in who we truly are. Divinity is what is, ever-present, all-encompassing. The mirror through which we reflect divinity is shaped by what we emanate. Our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs do not change divinity itself, but they determine which aspect of divinity reflects through us. If we emanate love, truth, and authenticity, we reflect those aspects of divinity, reinforcing clarity, wisdom, and peace within us. If we emanate fear, doubt, or dissonance, the aspect of divinity that reflects through us will reinforce uncertainty, creating a distorted perception of self and reality. Divinity is always present. It is what is. Nothing exists outside of it. But how we see and experience divinity is shaped by who we are being in the moment. Now let us pause and think about something. If divinity is everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, then what does it really mean to reflect divinity clearly? Here is the key. We are always reflecting an aspect of divinity, but what we emanate determines which aspect we experience. When we are clear and aligned, we reflect the aspects of divinity that bring wisdom, peace, harmony, and expansion. What we often call the higher or positive aspects. These states allow us to see with clarity, to move with purpose, and to live with authenticity. But if we are unclear or misaligned, we still reflect an aspect of divinity, just through a distorted lens. This might show up as confusion, struggle, or dissonance. Think of it like a mirror. A clean, polished mirror accurately reflects what stands before it. When we stand in truth, self-awareness, and alignment, we reflect the divine with clarity, in a way that reinforces peace, wisdom, and balance in our lives. A fogged or cracked mirror still reflects, but in a way that is unclear, chaotic, or misleading. When we are in doubt, fear, or deception, we still reflect an aspect of divinity, but one that reinforces our inner confusion and misalignment. So when we say The clearer and more aligned we are, the more clearly we reflect the divine. We are talking about reflecting the aspects of divinity that bring us into harmony with our highest truth. We are not saying that divinity only exists in the positive. We are saying that what we reflect back into our lives depends on what we emanate. So the real question is, what are we choosing to reflect? And so today, we explore this powerful phrase. Perfect expression and feeling good about who I am can be achieved while being true to self. It does not need to meet other people's expectations or time frame. I came into this fray with my coded design and agenda. My perfect is perfect. This phrase challenges one of the biggest illusions we have been conditioned to accept. The idea that perfection is something external, something we must achieve according to the standards of others. But this illusion is one of the greatest distortions we face. The moment we begin to doubt, believing that perfection is something to be earned rather than something we already are, we shift out of alignment. We start reshaping ourselves to fit an illusion, distorting our reflection of the divine within. We twist and contort who we are, trying to fit into molds that were never meant for us. But true perfection is not found in external validation. It is found in fully aligning with our unique essence. Today's phrase invites us to trust our unique design and recognize that our own version of perfect is already whole. So let us step into this exploration together, allowing ourselves to see and be seen as we truly are. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, have I ever held back from expressing myself fully because I feared it would not be good enough by someone else's standard? Have I felt pressured to reach a certain milestone in my life within a specific time frame simply because society says that is how it should be? If so, you are not alone. But here's the truth. Perfection is not something we strive for. It is something we already are. Today, we reclaim that truth. So what does it really mean to embrace our own perfect? How do we release the need for validation and stand in the truth of who we are? All right, let us take this phrase apart and really explore what it means. The phrase says, perfect expression and feeling good about who I am can be achieved while being true to self. It does not need to meet other people's expectations or time frame. I came into this fray with my coded design and agenda. My perfect is perfect. Now let us break it down one piece at a time. The first part of the phrase says, perfect expression and feeling good about who I am can be achieved while being true to self. Let us pause for a moment. What does it mean to feel good about yourself? Most of the time, we tie our sense of worth to external validation. We wait for praise, approval, or recognition to tell us that we are good enough. But this phrase reminds us of something important. Feeling good is an inside job. It is not about how others see us. It is about how we see ourselves. Think about it. Have you ever seen a child dancing freely, lost in their own world, not caring who is watching? They are in perfect expression, completely themselves, not looking for permission, just being. That childlike freedom still exists within us. The only thing standing in the way is whether we allow ourselves to be free. So ask yourself, what if I stopped waiting for permission to feel good about who I am? The next part of the phrase says, it does not need to meet other people's expectations or time frame. Let us really think about that. We live in a world full of rules, expectations, and deadlines. By a certain age, we are told we should have a career, a family, or a certain level of success. We are conditioned to believe that success must look a certain way. And if we take a different path, we often feel as if we have failed. But pause for a second. Who made these rules? Nature doesn't follow human-made timelines. Does every tree bloom at the same time? No. Does every river flow in the same direction? No. Everything in nature moves in its own time, at its own pace. And so do we. So release the pressure. Your journey is yours. Your rhythm is divine. Next, the phrase says, I came into this fray with my coded design and agenda. This right here, this is powerful. Before we were shaped by the world around us, we arrived whole, with our own unique blueprint, a coded design, a purpose. Think of yourself like a seed. A seed does not question whether it will grow into a tree. It just follows its inner code. It does not need approval from the other trees around it. It does not try to become a flower because that is what looks beautiful to others. It simply becomes what it is meant to be. And so do we. But when we forget this, when we try to fit into molds that were never meant for us, we step out of alignment. We lose sight of our original design. So I ask you, are you trusting your inner blueprint? Or are you trying to be something you were never meant to be? Finally, the phrase says, "My perfect is perfect." Now, since you are listening to me and not reading these words, let me explain the emphasis. When I say perfect, I am not talking about some rigid, flawless ideal that we have to chase. I am talking about the perfection that already exists within us. The way we were designed, the way we express ourselves, the way we move through this life. That perfection is not something that needs fixing or approval. It is already whole. Your perfect is perfect. Say it with me. My perfect is perfect. Not because someone else said so, not because it fits a definition, but because it is mine. Your expression, your timing, your design, it is exactly as it should be. There is no single right way to be. Each of us carries our own rhythm, our own design. If a river questioned its curves or tried to flow in a straight line, it would no longer be a river. It would be something else entirely. Yet, in its natural course, it is perfect. So are we. Now, as we shift into the creative reflection portion of this session, I invite you to engage with your coloring tools. If you are coloring, don't think, just feel. Pick the colors that call to you. Let your hands move intuitively, with no pressure to make it look right. If you are simply listening, reflect on this question. Where in my life have I allowed external expectations to override my own truth? How can I reclaim my own peace, my own way of being? The act of coloring itself is symbolic. It reminds us that we are creating our lives in every moment, not by following rigid rules, but by embracing the natural flow of our expression. Now, here are some guiding questions for reflection. What expectations have I placed on myself that do not truly belong to me? How do I define perfection? And does that definition serve me? In what areas of my life am I still waiting for permission to simply be? How can I embrace the truth that my perfect is already perfect? As we bring this session to a close, I invite you to repeat this affirmation with me. I am whole and complete exactly as I am. My journey is mine to walk. My timing is divine. My perfect is perfect. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to ensure that more people on this journey of self-discovery can receive these reflections. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Until next time, Continue to walk in your truth, in your light, and in the perfection of who you already are.